founder be focused on raising money from investors, or how does in raising funds fall into this entire equation?
Well, so I definitely have a different way of thinking about it than a lot of people do. But I believe that a founder doesn't need to focus on raising money. They need to focus on building value. And a lot of investors aren't going to give you very good terms if you don't have value. And I think that's what we see a lot of times is we get out there with this idea and we expect that we should get investment for it so we can get it off the ground, but your idea is not really worth anything. And so it takes a while to build value. And the people who say like, oh, it took me 6 months, I think they're lying. Like, actually, I'll like just be honest. Like, I know they're lying. It didn't take them 6 months. They're just saying that because it sounds better than it took me 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that there's a few, and by a few, I mean a very small portion of companies that need to be raising money. And that's because like they're building a technology product that is extremely, that literally can't go to market until it's done, for instance, and something like that. Like, yeah, there's some instances where venture capital is required, but if you think about it, there's a lot of ways around it. And I think that I like to try to encourage people that I work with to think about the way around it. One entrepreneur I know is talking about building this custom software, and she's like, I need investment. We need to build this custom software. And we sit down and start talking about what the software needs to do. And about 15 minutes in the conversation, I'm like, you need Shopify. You need Shopify and like, a couple $1,000s a budget for customization to make the user interface not look like Shopify. But really, that's what you need. Why don't we just do that? And that's one way for her to say, I can continue to build value in my business, grow revenue, and retain ownership. It doesn't mean that she's not going to raise money. In fact, you get to a certain point in your business where what got you here isn't going to be what gets you here. But once she's here, she can raise money at way more preferential terms than she ever would be able to otherwise. So.
Yeah, and it's I feel like I could go quite far and deep into the reasons why, but I feel that a lot of the media today and a lot of the things that we read, and even like you go to conferences and you hear them talk, and a lot of people are they just hammer down the go talk to investors, go raise money thing.
Oh yeah.
And it's become so default of thought process that I think everyone's lost the concept of, wait, maybe you get traction and you get customers and you get revenue before you actually can and should go raise money. Mm-hmm. And so this is what I like about what you're doing is you're bringing it back to the basics. And like you said, there are some companies that actually will need to go raise money quick, like right now, because they're building technology. They're doing something very
like biotech. Like, are you patenting a drug?
Yeah.
Venture capital for that.
But most people aren't, right? And yet when they read in TechCrunch, oh, such and such raised a seed round or like a Series A of like $5 million. Every other founder thinks that that's the only route.
I was right there. Like, I was totally like not just thinking I needed to do that, but being like, I need to be on the cover of TechCrunch. I'm going to raise the biggest round from the highest profile VC fund. Woo,
Yeah.
And like, what am I doing? Like,
and what do you think that the main result of thinking like that was in your business and in you personally?
I mean, the end result of thinking like that and pursuing that was almost losing the business, incredible stress, tension with all my family and my friends and people that I loved, stress and upset within myself that I wasn't meeting these expectations and feeling like I had no other choices, feeling like walls were closing in on me, because it's just me hoping that this person says yes, because, and that's just not a place you want to be. You don't want to be in the position where you're like, oh, please say yes. You want to be in a position where you're like, you're asking me and I get to say yes or no.